Hello to my dear friends, how are you? I am here today to show you my cookbook box. I haven't cooked for years, but I got it out today for Thanksgiving because I was looking for a pound cake recipe. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what's in here, tell you what I was looking for and what we're going to do. And I know that you are waiting for pictures from or videos from when we were in Texas, and I'm being really slow. It's a lot of clips, and when it's a lot of clips, putting them together takes me forever. And I am recuperating from making that big long trip. I'm doing well, but I'm not getting very much done. I'm pretty much just breathing every day, and that is my contribution to the world. So I was talking to my mother today. If you've been following me, you know that my biological mother passed away in October of 2014. My dad has been remarried for 18 years, and I call her Mom. She has been a mom to me. She's absolutely fabulous, and I was talking to her today. She made some caramel apples while we were in Texas, and she sent some home with us, and I have eaten all of them. So I was eating the last one. Nobody else was touching them, so I've been eating them. And I was eating the last one, so I called her up to tell her that I was eating the very last caramel apple, and I was also calling to let her know that the baby kitten that we brought home is potty trained, and yours truly did it in a day and a half. Cat is all potty trained, and I am so proud. When I brought home Tarzan from Texas a year ago, it took me months to get him it took me weeks to get him potty trained, but then it took months for me to get him to scratch on his litter and cover up what he just did. Mom said that this was a wild cat. They have cats that they feed. They have cats inside, and then they have cats outside, and then they have wild cats that they just feed. One of them had some kittens, and we brought one home. And she said that they have, and they showed it to us, they have this little shed out there for the animals, the cats to go into. They have a litter box there. So she said that the mama cats always carry their babies over there. So he was probably already a little bit used to using the litter box, but I'm going to take all the credit for this anyway. Okay, so while I was talking to her, she asked me if I was going to bake these cakes that I talked about. And what it is, I have two recipes. We've been married for 28 years. And early in my marriage, I still had my grandmother, Granny Baldwin, who lived in Mountain View, Arkansas. And I got recipes from her. I got recipes from Aunt Sarah from way back then. So I found a couple of pound cake recipes. 1991 from Granny Baldwin. Now this is my handwriting, but it's a sour cream pound cake. And I visited her, and I must have copied this off of hers. I don't remember, because I'm pretty sure she didn't read all of this to me for me to write down. But this is a sour cream pound cake that I love, that I've made. Then we have a pound cake from Liza Ashley, the governor's mansion in Arkansas. And I've made this one several times, and this is my Aunt Sarah's handwriting. And she gave me this many, many years ago. So I found a bunch of recipes that I got from my Aunt Sarah that I was really happy to see. I haven't been inside of this recipe box for a long time. There's spinach salad. There's chicken dressing. There's Lucy's applesauce cake from Granny Baldwin in 1991. This would be my Aunt Lucy, who would be my grandmother's sister. And she is now gone too, but this is a family recipe. So I was really happy to see these. Cornbread dressing, this is from my Aunt Sarah. So I had a bunch of these that I found that were really cool to see. And then I was talking to Mom while I'm flipping through these recipes, and I said, and I'm sorry I'm not looking at you because I'm going to pull these out. Hang on. While I was talking to her, I said, I don't have any recipes from Dad, and Dad used to cook all the time. Sorry, I keep moving around in the camera. And I came across two letters that Dad wrote me, and I don't have the year, I don't have the date on here. Hi, baby and crew. I'm still not working, but have some prospects. I made something tonight you might want to try. I had 4 of those baked chicken breasts left. A whole boiled chicken would have done as well. Anyway, I took a can of cream of chicken soup and a can of mixed vegetables. Would have used some broth if I had it. Anyway, I heated it up in a pan, cut the chicken up in little pieces, and put it in, spiced it up with poultry seasoning and a couple of chicken bouillon cubes, poured it up. Oh, I guess I don't have the rest of that letter, but I found another one that he wrote, and he put a recipe in here. And Dad doesn't write me anymore. Dad's 80 years old now, and we just saw him last weekend. Dad hasn't cooked now for years. When I was a little girl in elementary school, my dad was a car salesman for many years. He had a couple of his own car lots. And so there are a lot of entrepreneurs in my family. His brother owned a store where he worked, where he lives in Arkansas. My dad had a couple of car lots. My Aunt June, we're going to Aunt June's house next week for Thanksgiving. She ran a little bookstore, a used bookstore that she had. She did it for many years. And my grandmother, Granny Baldwin, was a school teacher. Aunt Sarah was a school teacher and retired. She taught school for many years in Timbo, Arkansas. She is going to come from Arkansas over to Oklahoma, where we're going to be for Thanksgiving. But anyway, it's been emotional to look through the recipe box and see recipes from people that, you know, I haven't seen or talked to for years. I wish I had a few more notes. I'm not sure where some of my recipes came from. And there are some recipes from my biological mother. I didn't come across those while I was looking today, but I know that I have some in there that Mom has given me. So, recipes are very, very special. We don't use a lot. William does all the cooking, my husband. And he uses cookbooks some. And he looks on the internet and finds recipes, and so there are just so many ways to get recipes now electronically. But seeing this handwritten letter from my dad, and I forgot that I had these. I didn't think I had any recipes from Dad. Dad used to cook. He didn't have a job when he wrote this one thing, but he knew how to cook with nothing and make it good and not eat ramen noodles. But he had chicken, and he didn't have broth, but he was able to cook it and make a substantial meal for himself that had some good protein in it. So I didn't mean to be so emotional and share all this stuff with you, but I wanted to get on here and just tell you something, and maybe you have a recipe book. This is my little recipe box. I've had this since I first got married. It's all dirty. I've used it over and over again, and I have like lots of recipes in here, and there are lots of stories. Years ago, I've not made a lot of these recipes, but years ago we would take these little index cards. They make recipe cards, but I had a lot of index cards, and then I would take the recipes out if I was interested in them, and I would put them on these cards. And I think these came from Tupperware years ago. They came from something, but they have the little hole in there where they would have boxes like this, and you would put it through a little hole somehow. I didn't ever have any of those, but I have some of those in here. And then I have, oh, this must be from my mother, guys. It is. This is from my mother, from my biological mother. This is a letter that Mom wrote me. It's 2 33-cent stamps on the front. Okay, let's see. Let's look at this together. Oh, it's empty. I wonder what I did with the recipe that was in here. It must have been something in here. So anyway, so there are a lot of memories in here, but I have a lot of the cards where I've written. Oh, here's one. This is my mom's writing. Sky in the pie. This is my mother's handwriting on a card. So Mom gave me an idea today. She said to start now and to take recipes out, put them in a book, tell who they're from, and when Lauren gets married, present her with this book of recipes and not just this little box that I have here. But I have a lot of cards where I a lot of cards in here. I'm trying to find them. There are a lot of cards where I glued recipes onto. This is from the newspaper. I have a few things from the newspaper. I took newspaper stuff out. I remember when I did this, there were a whole bunch of, must have been around Thanksgiving, there were a whole bunch of recipes in the newspaper, and it was all about pumpkin. So I have a little note in here that's tips on pumpkin that I wrote out on a card. So anyway, very special little box that I have right here, and I didn't know how special it was until I opened it up today, and until I started even talking to you about it. I wasn't crying when I was looking through it earlier, but a very special box I have. So tell me something special that you have that's related to Thanksgiving, and I'm very thankful for my box, and I'm going to see if I can organize it a little better and make it make more sense, and maybe give some of this to Lauren. That's a great idea to put a book together. So, sorry about that. So you guys have yourself a wonderful, beautiful day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.